Hey everybody, it's back. The Spinato Spin is back. I'm back. Everyone's excited. Everyone's enjoying the springtime. Now all of a sudden we're going to be into the summertime. Longest day of the year is coming up. You got to enjoy that. But let's talk about one another here. Let's talk about doing something special. Let's talk about doing something great. The thing we got to understand is we all have something inside of us. We all have something inside of us that makes us unique, and something inside of us that makes us special. You know, there's two things I've heard in my lifetime I thought was very, very powerful. Number one was a gentleman that stood up and said to me one day, he said, "You know what, John? I see greatness in you." I said, wow, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty powerful. So I pointed to some people as I got older and understood what was going on. I said that to other people. And I'll tell you, when someone points at you and tells you, "I see greatness in you," you feel good. You know, everyone see this sign out here that says Yankees? Well, what if it said, "Tell me something good about me. Tell me something good about me." See, everyone's got a flashing sign on them, and you got to see that sign. Tell them something good. Make them feel good about themselves. Make them feel important. You know, it's all about making yourself feel good, but it's all about doing something good too. And the bottom line is, folks, you got a goal out there. You got something that's going to make you feel so great, so awesome, but maybe you're scared. Maybe you're not sure how you're going to do it. Maybe you're not really thinking that you could possibly do it. Well, let me ask you this, folks. Let me ask you this question real quick. First question. Number one, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? What price are you willing to pay to get where you want to go? Now, how bad do you want it? Let's go at that for a minute. You know, in the book Think and Grow Rich, which is basically the Bible, the cornerstone of all things that wind up accumulating in people's bank accounts and people's minds, it always asks, it says, you have to have a desire. No, it doesn't say you have to have a desire. You have to have a white hot desire. You got to have a white hot desire to get what you want to get. What's white hot? Well, white hot, think about it. You're setting up a charcoal, you're setting up a grill, trying to get things going. You light the coals and they turn a little red, right? Right? Okay, not ready to use yet. All of a sudden they turn white. White hot. White hot means that if it comes in contact with something, it's going to change the nature of it. It's going to change the current situation. That's how bad you got to want it. You got to have a white hot desire to achieve what you want. And then the other part of it is, what price are you willing to pay? How bad do you want it means what price are you willing to pay. What do you want? What do you want that's so important? You know, it's funny, you look at a little example like this. You got a guy flying down the road, racing to get to where he's got to go. The price he's willing to pay is his life so he can get somewhere in 10 minutes. That don't make any sense, does it? We're not talking about that. How about a piece of your life is what it's going to take? How about 5 years of your life to get what you really want? You know, here's a question for you. Believe that a temporary inconvenience is worth a permanent result? Ever asked that question to yourself? Is a temporary inconvenience worth a permanent result? You know, it's just like somebody that's going to stop eating the cheesecake for a couple of weeks to lose some weight so they can look good for the reunion, or they can look good for their date, or they can just look good for better for themselves. Those are the types of things and the prices you got to pay. That all boils down to how bad you want it. If you really want to lose weight, you really want to stop smoking, you really want to achieve something great, you want to be somebody special, how bad do you want it, and what price are you willing to pay? You know, a lot of things going on in the country today. People say, well, you know, we got to have our security. Well, understand this, folks. You want your security, you lose some independence along the way. You know, you stay home with your mom and dad your whole life. You got your security until they die, God forbid. But you got your security, but you ain't got no independence. You can't have the people over you want to have over. They're not your house. You got to understand that, folks. You got to be willing to fight for what you want. You got to be willing to go for it. And the Spinato Spin this week is pretty emotional, pretty excited, but maybe I'm only talking to a certain amount of people here. Maybe I'm not talking to you. Maybe I'm talking to the person sitting next to you, or the person hasn't even come in the room yet. Maybe we're not talking to you. Maybe I'm talking about a small amount of people out there that say, you know, that guy makes sense. That is what we should be striving for. I'm not settling for average and ordinary. I'm not settling for just mediocrity. I want to be somebody special. I want to do something. I want to be 1 out of 100 that steps up and actually does something that people could talk about 25, 30 years down the road. Another topic we want to hit on real quick is what will getting it do for you? See, that's the why, folks. You know, you know, as an old joke my uncle told me a long time ago, he says, for a long time a man yearns for a wife. Okay, he yearns for a wife. But over the years the why is gone, because that means he earns for a wife. Well, here's the question. What's your why? Why do you want it? That is the fuel, folks. That is the #1 reason you'll go through all that. That's the #1 reason why you'll pay the price, is the why. Work on your why. Why do I want it? Why? You know, here's a little game you can play with yourself night and day, and I guarantee you might find out so much about yourself you can't stand it. When you ask yourself why you want something, after you get the answer, be like a little kid. Say, why? Well, I want to make money. Why? Well, that way I can have all nice things and I can do things special for other people. Why? Keep asking that why, folks. The more you ask that why, the more you'll understand about yourself. Or maybe, you know, be a negative Nelly here, say, well, maybe you'll realize you don't want it. Why? Well, too many whys, all of a sudden you understand why you don't want it. Go after something else. Find something special. And the last one, we're going to wrap it up here, and I'm going to put it to bed with this one, folks, and I hope you understand it. It says this one real simple. Life will give you what you're willing to accept. It doesn't give you what you want. It doesn't give you everything that you want. It's only going to give you what you accept, what you'll take, what you'll believe in. You know, there's an old story here. And picture this now. You got a rich person, you know, or you got yourself right here, right? You're driving through a neighborhood, right? And you're driving through a neighborhood, and you got the windows rolled down, everything's nice. A nice neighborhood. You're looking around, very nice. All of a sudden, you head into another neighborhood side of town, and the neighborhood's not so nice. So you roll your windows up. You're kind of afraid. You wonder what's going on. And you're looking around. You see a lot of horrible conditions, a lot of things that are real tough. And as you drive out of that neighborhood, you drive around, and you look at a person to the left of you, the right of you, and you say, how do people stand to live like that? How do they accept that? Then guess what? All of a sudden, the limousine starts driving through the neighborhood that you live in. And the guy in the limousine is sitting there, and he's looking at your neighborhood. And he's seeing where you live. You know what he says? Guess what? How do people live like that? How do people accept to live like that? You see, that's what it's going to be about, folks. That guy driving in that limousine, that gal driving in that limousine, they've decided to accept more out of life. I hope I helped you tonight, and I hope after tonight you go after something. You go after it real hard with a white-hot passion and a white-hot desire, and you get what you're willing to accept. Have a good one.